And if you look into it, it's fucking obvious that NASA is putting out fake footage. They're clearly on wires in some of that footage. Clearly some of that footage is underwater and there's bubbles fucking floating up and shit.
To the long-standing debate, what's scarier, the bottom of the ocean or space? Here's some fun facts to help you decide. If you think black holes in space are scary, there are black holes in the ocean. Yep, you heard that right. Black holes in the ocean. As if it couldn't get worse. These things are called eddies, and they can be 150 kilometers in width and last for months or years. Amazing. By the year 2100, our ocean is supposed to grow 2 meters in depth, which is going to swallow a handful of major coastal cities. 1 milliliter of ocean water can contain up to 10 million viruses, and this is a real danger when it comes to climate change. There's a real committee called the International Cruise Victims Association dedicated to finding people who have fallen overboard from cruise ships and just never returned. Also, if you don't know the prevalence of this, look it up. Basically, any time someone falls overboard off of a cruise or a major ship like this, there's no finding them. They'll look for them for a couple of hours just to say that they did, but there's typically no finding them. The ocean contains about 3 million shipwrecks and about 90,000 plane wrecks, not to mention the thousands, potentially millions of corpses that are just in the ocean. The Gulf of Mexico has a type of flesh-eating bacteria in its waters, and for the most part this is not life-threatening, but it's still flesh-eating bacteria. After sitting in salt water for about 3 days, anyone who has fallen off ship and clinging to pieces of wreckage to survive, their skin starts to dissolve. Amazing. Typically clinging to whatever they're holding on to. Just the Pacific Ocean, all by itself, is already larger than all of Earth's landmass combined. And we know that we've only discovered between like 5, 10, 20% of the ocean. Even if it's 20%, that's still 80% that we don't know about. And most of that is complete and total darkness and pressure that would kill humans. And most of our technology currently, so we have no idea what's under there. The last thing about the ocean that I'm sure there's a good explanation for this, but I just won't ever understand, is internet cables in the ocean. Look them up. How are they there? How does that work? How do sharks not just eat them all the time? I truly have no idea how the internet works. And space facts. When it comes to space, you could fit all of the planets in our solar system between us and our moon. I thought the moon was a lot closer than that. Apparently it is not. Invisible radiation is one of the most dangerous things about space travel. Not necessarily all of the other horrifying things about space travel. Black holes, as there are plenty of them in space, travel at millions of miles per second and just shred anything atom to atom that they come in contact with. So one could be hurling at us and we would have no idea. Every day, several tons of materials from space just fall down into Earth, but they are so microscopic that we don't really ever see them with our naked eye. So you, if you stand outside, could be getting space dust on you at any given moment, which is cool or scary. There's a type of star, Y-type brown stars, that are cool enough that you could touch them without burning your hand. There are 1.6 quadrillion tons of gold in the Earth's core. Think about that. That is so much. And precious metals, like gold, are forged when planets and stars collide, and that dust just scatters across the universe. Diamonds are found all over our solar system, not just Earth. Certain types of supernova stars can die and come back to life. Jupiter's gravity has been protecting us from asteroids and meteors for many, many, many years. Everyone say thank you, Jupiter. The stress from being in space, even if you are technically safe, can change your DNA. We found this out when an astronaut who went to space had a genetic difference when he came back from his twin brother who was also an astronaut. And one of the first things that would kill you in space, other than the lack of oxygen, is that all of the water in your body would boil until eventually you popped. So that's wonderful. And it would take about 2 minutes for you to die if you didn't have a spacesuit on. I don't want to go to either. But you let me know in the comments what you think is scarier, space or the ocean. I'm kind of leaning towards the ocean, but space could have so many of those, so I truly don't know.
They tell us to look up, to wonder about the stars, the galaxies, the planets beyond our reach. But what if the real mystery isn't above us? What if it's been below us this entire time? What if the ocean is not just water, but a hidden abyss, a gateway, a place where reality itself bends? What if the deep sea isn't just unexplored, but deliberately ignored, because what's down there is something we were never meant to find? The final frontier is not in the stars, it's below our feet. Over 80% of Earth's ocean remains unexplored. We know more about distant planets than we do about the trenches of our own world. We send probes to Mars, but we barely explore the crushing depths of the Mariana Trench. The pressure barrier, a wall we weren't meant to cross. At extreme depths, the ocean is more hostile than space itself. The pressure in the Mariana Trench is over 1,000 times greater than at sea level. It would crush a human instantly. Sunlight does not reach beyond a certain point, creating a world of eternal darkness, where creatures exist that shouldn't. The further you go, the stranger reality becomes. Time slows, perception distorts, and signals disappear. Some believe the ocean wasn't meant to be explored, that something put a wall there for a reason, that the creatures in the deep are not just animals but remnants, things from a time before or things from somewhere else, and that maybe, just maybe, we were never meant to go down there. The ocean and alien life, what if they are one and the same? NASA was created to explore space, but did you know its earliest missions were focused on studying the ocean? The 1950s and 60s saw classified deep-sea projects conducted under the same agencies that worked on space exploration. The US Navy's underwater programs mysteriously stopped certain deep-sea projects without explanation. Astronaut training involves deep-sea simulations, because the conditions in the abyss are more similar to space than land. And yet, whenever an unidentified object is seen, we assume it comes from above. What if the real UFOs don't come from space? What if they come from below? Many military sightings of unidentified submerged objects, USOs, describe crafts moving at impossible speeds underwater. Deep-sea creatures, why do they look alien? Some deep-sea fish produce their own light, like bioluminescent creatures from another world. Others have transparent bodies, multiple rows of teeth or eyes that see in total darkness. Scientists constantly discover new species, but they still admit they have barely scratched the surface. What if these creatures are not just evolutionary adaptations? What if they are survivors, beings from an earlier version of Earth? Or worse, what if they are not from here at all? What if the ocean is not just hiding life, but hiding the truth about where life really came from? Did ancient cultures know the truth? Nearly every ancient civilization has stories of the ocean as something more than just water. The Sumerians spoke of Enki, a god who emerged from the sea, bringing knowledge. The Dogon tribe in Africa told stories of the Nommo, fish-like beings that descended from the heavens and lived in the deep. The Greeks feared the ocean as a realm of chaos, with deities like Poseidon ruling over something humans were never meant to control. The Bible describes the Leviathan, a monstrous creature lurking in the depths, waiting for the end of days. And then there are the sunken cities, places like Atlantis, Yonaguni, and Dwarka, ruins swallowed by the sea, as if something wanted them erased. Did ancient cultures know the truth? Nearly every ancient civilization has stories of the ocean as something more than just water. What if the ocean isn't just a place where civilizations drowned? What if it's where something put them to sleep? The final question, what are we really floating on? We act like the ocean is just a giant body of water, but it's not. It is a place that defies logic, swallows history, and refuses to be fully known. Maybe we aren't meant to explore space. Maybe the real frontier isn't up there. Maybe it's right below us. And maybe the reason we keep looking at the stars is because we are too afraid to look down.
Do you remember the rumors of an underwater alien base being located just off the California coast near Malibu? And what was crazy is that you could even find it for yourself by checking out Google Maps. But you can't anymore, because that area has apparently been scrubbed. But of course, pictures of this structure still exist on the internet. And thanks to Ripley Cooks, we even have recent video of this anomaly. Whether it's a massive underwater alien base or just a really strange underwater geographical structure is unknown. But what is known is that it's 2,000 feet underwater and approximately 3 miles wide. And it appeared to have an array of columns that were supporting a giant dome. But now it's just a big blurry mess. And the changes of this area on Google Maps comes within days of Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet publishing his white paper titled Beneath the Surface. We may learn more about UAP by looking in the ocean. A paper in which he states that 71% of the Earth's surface is covered in water, but only 25% of the seabed has been mapped to modern standards. And only 5% of the total volume of the world's ocean has been explored. So we know more about the surface of Mars and the moon than we do about our own ocean. And if we begin to explore our oceans in hopes of finding more evidence of UAPs, or in this case USOs, unidentified submerged objects, a byproduct of that effort is that we would learn a lot more about our planet and be better off because of it. And as a nation, it would potentially close any domain awareness gaps we have in the water. And that's why I think we should definitely be paying more attention to the underwater aspect of the phenomenon.
In 2021, a fisherman known as Sauce 90 began having these bizarre and mysterious encounters while on the ocean. And after going viral with several videos, he disappeared from the internet. Now just recently, Sauce 90 began uploading videos once more of these mysterious encounters of what people believe to be evidence of the existence of mermaids.
Absolutely, you've never seen anything like this? No.
But before I show you these videos, let me explain how it all started.
Us 90, and we just out here. We're chilling.
It all began with him hearing strange vocalizations at night in the middle of the ocean.
Out here. Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Crazy. That's nuts.
In this particular video, if you pay close attention, we can hear what sounds like some sort of vocalization, as if this creature, whatever it is trying to communicate with him. It is a popular belief that mermaids try to lure people in by singing or enchanting sailors, and I guess this is exactly what was happening with Sauce 90.
Can you hear me? At the docks, though? Hey, yo, you hear that? I know what the that is. That bitch followed me the in. Oh, at the docks, though?
Just a couple of days after, Sauce 90 goes back to his commercial fishing trips, and on one dark night, he finds a mysterious bone on the ship's deck. After posting the picture to Instagram, there were many internet users stating that this is possibly the tail of a mermaid. Now, being someone with a certain level of expertise on marine life, Sauce 90 is unable to identify the bone, so he takes it to an expert.
It was the day I got a call back from the whaling museum, and they had an expert there who was willing to talk to me about the bone that I had found.
Don't know what it is.
Yeah, everybody's saying they never seen nothing like it. Usually the bones that come up are like vertebrae and stuff, but nobody's seen anything like this.
Now, just recently, he posted another video where we can see that there's something once again swimming next to his boat. On that same night, he captures something swimming very close to his boat, so he gets his camera and tries to snap a video of it. And this is what he saw. Did you see that? Now, whatever this thing is, most internet users agree that there's something there and that it could be a mermaid.
Us 90, and we just out here. We're chilling. We're out here chilling. I hear it. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God.
story. I'm not going to say the guy's name. He's Navajo. He starts dating this girl. The girl's father doesn't like that they're dating. Long story short, he's way out of town, and his grandmother, her old home, is in this city that he's in, and no one has a key. There's a window pane that they can slide. That's how the family uses the house. So anyways, it's late. He goes over there, and as he's about to drift off into sleep, he hears the same window pane sound. Now he hears the lock. He's like, okay, it's not in my head. This is something that's manually opening the door. And then he hears what sounds like hooves like across the floor. So he takes the gun and runs out of the thing. Sure enough, the door was like kicked open. The window was slid open. Something had come in. He like rationalized in his head. Someone just had some really weird shoes, realized someone was in the house.
Some chicken stilettos.
Yeah, he's like, okay, that's that. Well, the next day, his aunt comes over. They've got like some farm animals. She saw that he was parked there. She's like, well, come check on the sheep with me. As he's telling the story, they walk up on what's supposed to be where the pregnant sheep was. It had had a lamb in the night. The lamb mutilated. And she's like, I know what visited you last night. And she said, you'd be able to come back to you if it had something of yours bound with something of its. And he realizes his pen isn't on it. And so they just start digging. And in the crawl space, he finds a glass jar with fur wound around his pen. They believe skinwalkers are petitioned. So he believes that his girlfriend's father had asked a skinwalker to oppress him.
That's so terrifying.
Andrew, that was so scary.
There's a giant creature lurking off the coast of Antarctica. In 2005, reports started flooding in from Japanese fishermen and whale researchers in the area. They first thought they were seeing a submarine surfacing, but soon realized that it was a living, breathing, giant unknown sea creature that came up quick and then went back underwater. They called it the Ningen. Now, it's said that we've only explored about 5% of the ocean, so who knows what's out there that we haven't discovered yet. So what is a Ningen? Well, translated from Japanese, it means human. But this thing is not a human. And according to the stories, there are actually two versions of this thing. The primary one here is said to be this massive humanoid-like sea creature that's up to 30 meters long. It's a little bit whale-like. Some equate it to almost a giant mermaid, and it has this pale white blubbery skin. They've also been seen with arms, hands with 5 digits, and have a disturbingly human-like face. And the second version is a smaller creature, maybe something like a juvenile, with 2 legs and a head, and can go on land. And at one point, some people thought that this satellite image could have been a Ningen that was caught on camera. Others also think there's a cover-up of this creature by the Japanese government, maybe to protect it, or not to scare the public, or for some other purpose.
This just in, Nessie might be back. A new sighting at Loch Ness has stunned the internet, but is it real? On March 5th, a visitor at Dores Beach, Scotland, captured this eerie photo of a massive dark figure emerging from the water. The witness described it as something big, moving against the current, and experts are baffled. What makes this sighting different? The conditions were perfect, the skies were clear, and the water was calm, and a witness with no history of hoaxes. Even veteran Loch Ness researchers are intrigued. For nearly a century, reports of a mysterious lake creature have captivated the world. But is this latest sighting proof of something lurking beneath the Loch Ness? Skeptics argue it could be a log, a shadow, or even a well-placed hoax, but believers say this could be the clearest evidence of Nessie in years. So what do you think? Is this finally proof that Nessie is real, or just another hoax? Drop a comment and let me know. As always, thank you for watching. Stay weird.
I am so excited to share this video with you because I have to tell you, this is not the first time that witnesses have captured an unidentified sea creature in these waters. And this is Vancouver, BC, Canada. And about a year ago, another witness captured something similar, of something massive, big, moving rapidly in the water with a huge wake, but they couldn't tell what it was. And again, this witness captured the same thing, but fast forward to February 11th, 2025. Now it's leaving people really questioning, what is this thing? This is the second time a witness has seen something like this, and we have no answers. Some want to say maybe it's a submarine. From the reports that I've read, there are reportedly no submarines in that area. People have said maybe a whale. It could be a whale, but is it? It looks like whatever it is, it has a slight hump on it. But are there whales in that area? You tell me. Take a look at this footage. Tell me what you think.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a sighting coming in from North Wales of a strange triangular object flying through the sky, making zero noise, and it kind of glided off into the distance and vanished, right? I'm changing the background here so we can see a little bit more about possibly what's going on, but the object in question literally is triangular in nature. We've seen this shape so much, man. Dorito type craft that we kind of name them now. Very interesting, and this isn't the first thing that we've been seeing. Over the past week or two, we've had so many different sightings from Washington to Spain. There was one in France, and then we also had ones in Thailand and Vietnam as well, of triangular shaped objects gliding through the sky. All of them, again, making zero noise, bruv, right? So, hella interesting. You can see the way it's gliding. It doesn't look like individual orbs almost. It looks like an actual type craft, but it's darker than the night sky. Like, you can't see anything else about it. And again, this is a correlation with a lot of these sightings that we've been seeing. It's mental, mate. And talking last night to loads of people, especially from Wales, and also Kaz Clark as well, that had such a profound experience with her situation and encountering UFOs. It's just unbelievable. And Wales, for some reason, is just prolific for having sightings and people reporting all kinds of strange things going on. And I don't know, mate. It's absolutely... I love it. I can't even, man. You guys let me know what you think, right? Sightings are only becoming more and more, and this is not slowing down. Right, some images have appeared online coming from Montana of a strange cylindrical type object floating through the sky, and there's a series of photos that I'm about to show you now, which is hella interesting, okay? And there's a little bit of a story that goes behind this, so I'll read it out to you now. These were taken with a Fuji camera in an extremely desolate part of Montana. The sighting was less than a mile away from a launch control facility with 10 missile silos. My cousin has a 2,000-acre ranch next to it. He took these photos and said he sees crazy UFOs like this all the time, going back to his childhood. He said he has a bunch of other videos and photos he would dig up for me. I was pretty blown away from the quality of the pics. I thought he was going to show me an orb or something, right? Hella interesting. Location, Winifred, Montana. Look at this thing, right? So we have a cylindrical type object here. I'm going to show you another picture of one. This object was slowly making its way through the sky, so if it was something of a missile in nature, then this was apparently travelling hella slow, okay? And on a cylindrical basis, we see this object showing up across the world, mate, and we have done for the longest time throughout history. That's been reported as well. This is quite a prolific sighting. So we've got the cylindrical base objects here, and then there's some sort of like propulsion system on the end, or a light or something of some sort. And then let's check the third picture out. So this is zoomed in a little bit, and obviously we've got the other stars and stuff in the background. Again, right, cylindrical in nature, looks kind of metallic almost in nature, and then we have the blue light that's showing here. Again, this is a strange UFO, as you could say, that has been popping up all over, but insane, mate. You guys let me know what you think. This image or set of images has been kind of making its round online and kind of blowing people's minds away at the moment. So, yeah, hell yeah. 11 p.m.
Alright, guys, look at this. This is one of those drones, one of those UAPs. This is looking inside of somebody's house. Looking in their window, okay? I don't care if they came out and said that these are our drones or whatever you want to call them. If it's looking inside your house from the outside window, this is a major, major, major problem. And I'm still not convinced that that's just a drone.
Hey friends, bit of a controversial topic here, but let's go because it's a fun one. So I do believe that future humans are currently interacting with our civilization, and that these future humans are actually American. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. So it's very well known in inside circles that back in the 1940s, the Germans had an advanced understanding of anti-gravitics and were actually making anti-gravity devices and craft. Now, when you manipulate gravity, you also manipulate time inadvertently. There's something called the four-dimensional space-time continuum. This is proven by Einstein and general relativity, that when you manipulate space, which gravity does, you also manipulate time. They're interlinked. It's a fabric, okay? So as they are manipulating gravity with these anti-gravity devices, it also creates ripples and distortions in time, making them time machines, okay? So if they already had this technology, or at least were tapping into it in the 1940s, imagine what they have now, and imagine what they'll have in the future. And there's a lot of high-level people that have come out and talked about how time travel is theoretically possible, how we have these programs, and how the Germans were doing this a long time ago. Now, after the World War II ended, we brought so many of those Germans over here. A lot of people don't know this. There was something called Operation Paperclip, very shady. And we brought the best and brightest German scientists and engineers to America. But we didn't just sprinkle them around society. No, we created these secret organizations and put them at the top of them, including the CIA, the NSA, DARPA, and NASA. Yes, those are full of German scientists and engineers. So these anti-gravitic programs didn't go away. They just went underground in America. But they also have better funding, resources, and protection here than they did there. So there's no reason to think that they didn't just skyrocket with their capabilities over the last 80 years, okay? So knowing all that, knowing that America is basically like Germany 2.0 with this stuff and is the center of basically time travel and anti-gravitics, okay? So knowing that, let's talk about aliens. So when we talk about aliens, there's a organization called MUFON, and they closely track all aliens and encounters and that kind of stuff. And overwhelmingly, America has more alien encounters than anywhere else. And overwhelmingly, the two most commonly reported aliens are Nordics and Greys. And when people talk about the Nordic aliens, what do they describe? Well, not very alien-like. The craft usually don't come in from the atmosphere. They come out of the earth or they materialize in midair. The Nordics are seen as human-looking, human-behaving, usually wearing military uniforms, very well-mannered and professional, and have light hair, light eyes, light skin, and look very human, okay? So these don't seem like aliens. And they also are very interested in our nuclear weapons, and they tell people to clean up the environment. That's behavior from someone who has a vested interest in the future of humanity and the future of Earth. Not very alien-like, but very human-like, okay? So put all this together, what do we have? Well, let's look at our current administration. It is this ragtag group of people that's formed together seemingly against all odds. They shouldn't really be there. There was the Pew Pew event where Trump turned his head just a little bit and seemingly avoided a negative timeline that would have probably taken us to civil war. And the trajectory of everything seemed to go in a more positive direction from that point on. Also, that happened at that time, there was some images captured of these metallic spheres and craft in the background. Okay, this goes in line with what we know about the future humans and their capabilities and what these anti-gravitic craft look like. So they could literally be editing timelines and jumping around like we would move a needle around on a record, right? And making edits and manipulating things for the benefit of humanity and Earth in the future. Now, this current administration seems to really favor a future Earth in these ways. They seem to be very hell-bent on tearing down these corrupt systems, on ending forever wars, preventing World War III, and empowering and integrating AI. Now, I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about all those things, and I'm not trying to get political here. These are just things that I've observed, okay? And these things, even though now there's so much political animosity and everything going on in the world, but if you actually extrapolate it out into the future, these are all things that are very, very good for the future of humanity, especially if future humans are trying to prevent some sort of cataclysmic, catastrophe like a huge war. AI can actually save us from ourselves in a lot of respects. This is a tool, and it doesn't have these emotions and everything. It can manage our money, manage our weapons, manage a lot of these things, and probably keep us safe and probably prolong human existence. So you put all this together, and it really looks like we at least stumbled upon time travel through these anti-gravitic programs back in the 40s. Those programs came to America, went underground, kept on percolating, and either we did it then, did it now, or in the future we have perfected time travel. And it seems like America is the basis for that, because that's where everything came from. We're Germany 2.0 now. And the future humans seem to be coming back, editing timelines and manipulating things to keep us from destroying the place, to lead to a better, more positive outcome for humans and Earth.
In a 347-kilometer long Mexican cave deep underwater, researchers have discovered a mysterious skull, implanted with an electronic microchip like in a science fiction movie. Now, this huge cave consists of 250 pits formed naturally and contains 198 ruins, of which 140 ruins belonged to the Mayans. Now, researchers found a human skull lying in limestone, and inside the skull was a metal plate. Now, Mexican archaeologist Pedro Sunchi confirmed the discovery and said without a shadow of a doubt that this skull actually was implanted with an artificial device. Now, the researchers thought it was just a regular metal plate embedded into the skull, but after further research they discovered it's actually something completely different. Now, the researchers, they decided not to talk about it because the technology at the time was not in line with our understanding. According to Sunchi, this is a microchip that was implanted around 12,000 years ago. Because the case is top secret, no one knows why the electronic chip was implanted. Let me know what you think in the comments.